Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Today we have the pleasure of the company of Mr. Rishabh Kapoor of Impression. And during the pre-interview discussion, we came to know a lot about you, sir, much more than what you do. You are into adventure sport, you are into movies, you are into accounting, law, and many other things. Please tell us about yourself, about Impression, how it started, what it does.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for letting me be here today, and I'm very happy to speak with you. It's always been on. I've seen so many of your podcasts. I thought, when am I going to make the cut? So I'm very happy that I'm here today. A little bit about Impression very quickly. Impression as a company started 24 years ago. It was founded by a couple, Robert and Adrian Hudson, and they were later joined by two more partners in crime.
Right.
And they built up this amazing, beautiful brand, which became a market leader in the Auckland Central CBD area,
Right.
with managing properties and buildings and doing sales. Just about 3 years and 1 month ago, I joined Impression, and there's a funny story how I actually joined Impression, because my interview happened when I was stuck in India during the pandemic period in 2021.
Or COVID-19.
Yeah, Omicron, that big Omicron flare-up that happened.
Right.
Borders were closed as soon as I got to India, so I never made it back, but it worked well. So about 5 months into my 4-week trip, I got interviewed by somebody from Impression. I think that it was a general manager then from Impression who interviewed me for a business development position, and I was out of job for about 4 months. So I said, yeah, this is a great opportunity.
So COVID became positive for you?
COVID became very positive for me, actually. And then I got interviewed. I came back to the country. I was sent to Rotorua for my MIQ. Everyone complains about MIQ. I enjoyed my MIQ experience. It was absolutely amazing, because I was in Sudima, Rotorua, and they had this massive 200 car park open area next to the lake, which was the exercise area. And you could access it any time apart from the times where they were moving people around.
Right.
That's it. So I enjoyed. I could go out, I could sit in the open, I could walk, I could do so many things. I was very happy. So my interview with the director, one of the directors, Robert, happened outside my MIQ, which I had to take special permission for, to leave an
How
hour or two
interesting.
early.
Okay, you must have been one of the few to be interviewed
Well,
for a job.
I sat in a car. It was raining outside, raining very heavy outside, and we were sitting. I remember he drove from Cambridge, where he lives. He stood there. We sat in his car for about an hour and a half, and we spoke about Impression and what he thinks, what my plans are to do things with Impression. And yeah, that conversation turned out into a job opportunity very quickly. And then I joined after a week of getting out of MIQ, which was very refreshing. And straight after that, about I think 7 or 8 days later, he asked me, "Do you want to be the general manager of the company? Because the current general manager wants to resign, and he's moving on." And he was never supposed to be the general manager. He was just taking over during that pandemic period. He was a guardian until they find a person. And obviously the pandemic delayed the process. So I was like, wow, things are moving very quick. I said, look, the changes I want to make to your organization, the vision that I have, I think it's best suited if I am in that position, because then I can influence that change. Otherwise, I will constantly be fighting against something. And they said, well, we didn't want to ask because it was too early. And I thought, perfect timing, let's just do it. That turned out to be, in about a year, I became the CEO. And about 3 years now my family and I own the company.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, so that's the
So you're
journey.
telling us some time ago that when you were 25, you were likely to become a partner in one of the largest legal firms.
One of the best tax firms in India.
So in less than 3 years here, you were made the CEO.
Yes.
Or 1.5 years, you said.
Yes.
What do you attribute this to? I mean, is there some hidden charm in you?
I don't know about that, sir, but the one thing I really like to do is I'm very passionate about what I do. And when any workplace that I'm part of, I feel like that's my own workplace. I don't care what position I'm in that workplace, but for me, that workplace becomes it's a place, it's a sacred
Did you
place.
always have the vision of buying this company when you joined? Or?
Not really, no. That vision developed, I think, about 6 to 8 months into the job, when the director said that, look, we eventually want to retire and sell. They're 70 plus. Both of them are 75 now. I think the 4 of them.
How did this gentleman spot you?
It actually came through a recruitment agent.
Okay.
So nothing was planned in this. No one referred me. Nothing was planned. It was very.
You were
I think I was meant to be.
destined for it.
Yeah, just meant to be in that space at that time. But I think for me, that vision, that first seed was planted when they said they want to retire and they want to sell. And quite honestly, and this I'm not scared of or shy of saying this, at the price which they thought they want to sell a company which is 24, 25 years old, almost 25 years old now. And when I came to New Zealand, we all knew about Impression because my family got into the same workplace. We took over a management right and property management at a very small level. Because the people who kind of helped us move to New Zealand were also in the same business. So, and we all used to talk about Impression and say, look, Impression is the company you want to be because if you want to make a mark in property management, especially in the CBD, you need to be like Impression because they have the largest market share and they manage over 1,000 properties, and that was a big deal for us back then. Obviously, I think that's when the seed was planted.
So you said that you have been in New Zealand for about 13 years.
10 years.
10 years. And your association with Impression is about four and a half years.
3 years. 3 years.
Prior to that, what were you doing?
Well, my first job was a job that I never thought or wanted to do in my life. When I was a lawyer back in India, I used to get a lot of call center calls and I hated it to my core. I said, why they're disturbing me? Very naive, very young, as I said. And I said, I don't like these people at all. And I think the universe punished me or made me go through that cycle. So my first job was working with Spark in a call center.
In a call center.
In a call center as a sales. We were contracted via a different company. I can't remember the exact name, but I started with that company, and Teletech was the name of the company.
Are you getting all angry calls?
No, I was actually making sales calls.
Oh,
so I was doing the exact same thing that I hated when I was in Delhi. But I was very lucky. I did the calling part for about 5 weeks, and then they made me a team leader, so I did not have to do any calls. So I was managing a team of about 25 odd people. That thing did not last for long, about 4 months, and the contract did not renew with Spark, and then Spark absorbed me directly, and then they said, we'll make you a team leader. I said, yeah, great. I don't want to call. It's not that I was arrogant about what it is. I just felt I had a lot more exposed mind, and I wanted to use that mind to offer more that I have. There was a lot more that I felt that I can offer. But that they couldn't give me a team leader job as they promised, and I thought it's about time I step out of it. Then I joined my father's business because he said, look, we need some help.
What's it called?
My father, it's called Auckland City Zone Management Limited. So it was one company. We were doing property and building management on a very small scale, nothing compared to Impression. And so I helped set up that space. I got some hiring into place. I got some new people around me. Again, I like working with people with fire in the belly. So I found some people who had the fire in the belly and they were ready to take over the challenge. So for me, it was a new thing. For them, it was a new thing, and we just built it from there. I did that for about 2 or 3 odd years. Helped set up their organization, did everything. And then after that, again, there was nothing more that I could have offered. And then my brain started looking for more stuff. At that point, I got approached by somebody. It's the first time I got approached from AMP. There was this guy I knew. He was working as a manager there, and he said, look, we are looking for people to work in our KiwiSaver team. Are you keen? And I had a little bit of financial experience. My bachelor's was for business was in finance. So I said, okay, let's learn the the financial sector in New Zealand. Let's see how that operates. So it was a very short one.
They were doing the Botany Town Center at that time.
No, our office was downtown, the AMP Tower.
AMP Tower.
Tower, yeah. Now I don't think they have their offices there. So that happened, and in about 15 odd months, that changed. The company changed, the structure changed, the job profile changed, and I found myself into a space where I felt like this is not what I want to do. I've been doing that a lot. I don't like to do it, but I was just trying to.
You are hopping.
Yeah, I was hopping because I was trying to find my place. One thing I was also doing simultaneously since I landed was acting. So I wanted to learn theatre. I was just mesmerized by watching theatre in National School of Drama in Delhi and Kamani Theatre, the prestigious 2 theatres, and I was absolutely in awe of how beautiful these actors are, and the way they present themselves on stage. And I'd been a lawyer, and I said, this is another level of very similar. Theater and litigation is very similar for me.
Both are drama.
Very, yeah, exactly. You're telling a story and you want people to believe, and
Yeah.
sometimes you succeed and sometimes you don't. So that was simultaneously brewing. So I was doing a lot of shows every year. Prayas was very kind to give me my first acting role, and it turned
Which
out
was the first one you did?
A Fine Balance in 2015. This was
Who produced it?
Prayas, yeah.
No, in Prayas, who produced?
The director was Ahi Karunaharan.
Oh, yeah. That's Sri Lankan gentleman.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
So
we promoted him, yeah.
Yeah, so he was my first director, and that was my first show. And cut to now, almost 10 years later, I'm part of the exec committee,
Wonderful.
and I've done almost all their shows.
We are very proudly associated with Prayas from the time they started. It's a very creative theatre.
Very different environment.
Very
We
different.
love our Kopapa. We love promoting.
So tell us
South Indian
about
stories.
more about Impression, what it does, and what are the kind of activities it has.
So Impression, at the moment, we do property, and we do residential property and residential building management.
Maintenance.
Maintenance is a part of it. We offer our services. And
So do you also are a body cop?
No, we don't do. We are not a body corporate manager.
Okay.
But we look after body corporates.
I see.
Because
Okay.
we manage buildings. So buildings are mostly body corporates.
They are all in CBD?
No, not all of them. Some of them are in Mount Wellington. Some of them are in the Shore. Most of them are in the CBD.
Okay.
But they're all scattered now. Most of our portfolio at the moment is in the CBD. So we manage about 800 odd properties in
wonderful.
the CBD, plus another 200 odd around Auckland.
So you've got about 1,000 properties.
Just over 1,000 properties and car parks and everything.
Are these high-risk buildings? Like, because if some of them are very old, do they have this leaking syndrome?
We go through that. Luckily, I think one of the buildings that we have is going through some repair work. Buildings that we manage, not the apartments. But apart from that, none of the buildings that we manage have leaking.
Do you find it challenging to deal with body cops?
Honest answer, that is the most challenging part of.
That's what I read.
Yeah.
Because we've received a lot of representation and complaint from some of the body cops and people who live in the buildings.
Yes. See, it's all. One thing that people ask me, what do you really do? I said, I manage people and their expectations. That's what I do. Be it tenants, owners.
So mostly rental properties you are managing.
Yeah, rental property.
Are they now in demand? Is it coming up?
So honestly, we had an amazing period in between January and April.
This year?
This year. We felt like we're coming back to the pre-pandemic period where there was extreme amounts of demand for rental properties, and I felt the market's now going to boost up. It did. And it's the exact opposite at the moment. It's very dull. The demand's fallen because the problem is that we don't have enough people. See, the CBD is designed for students, for working migrants, for working class, young working class people. We don't have that coming in anymore. We don't have.
Is it probably because more people are working from home, or is it probably because the CBD itself is undergoing such a transformation?
A mix of a lot of things. That being one of the factors. I would say the biggest factor is lack of students. No news.
But the news at hand, including the High Commission, is that a large influx is expected this year. That's what
expected. So that's what I'm still I'm expecting that to happen. Exactly. So I'm still expecting that. For us, the whole thing depends on the expectation, but we haven't seen that happening. So let me just give you all the factors, because this is the interesting part. So people is for us important, not there. The state of the CBD is quite. It's a lot better than what it was 2 years ago. I'll tell you that, because we breathe the CBD, live and breathe there. So yes, the CBD is improved, but it has taken a toll. Yes, the people have gone into that hybrid model of not working from the office, and that's why people don't want to spend that money anymore. Why do you spend $500,000 on a rental or $200,000 on a rental office when you can do it at half the price? Lack of jobs, also, I would say talent drain to Australia, again, people. So the two biggest issues that we want to get resolved is more people coming into the economy or the country, and more ambition in our country to provide them the reason to come to New Zealand.
According to recent government legislation, the insistence that this will be in the public sector to start with, that at least 4 days a week they have to work in their offices is what the new legislation, I think, something to that effect. We are also told that many private companies might insist on this because working from home has its advantages but more disadvantages.
It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work. I like coming to the office.
Yeah, and the personal touch is lost.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
the
The
team
socializing
leadership
is lost. The people skills are lost. The
and
communication is
it's
lost.
difficult to assess people when they are not physically. All those combinations are working towards converging towards the re-emergence of people wanting to go back to. That might stimulate demand for real estate space.
It might, and a lot of people that used to work in the CBD wanted to live in the CBD because of their convenience. But we also have to be very realistic to understand that we have lost the charm of the CBD. The charm is lost.
Right.
This charm of the Queen Street is there's a habit that I have every week, at least once a week. I start from downtown, from Upper Queen Street, and I walk down.
The Lower Queen.
All the way, and then I walk around the place, because for me that is very important to understand what the place is looking like, what is it doing, what is it showing me, what is the reality on the ground. And the reality is that whatever the government, the previous government or the current government, I don't know what the current government is trying to do, but whatever the previous government did trying to beautify the place or whatever it was, I think it completely backfired.
Destroyed, yeah.
It destroyed it. It has taken the charm away. No one wants to be in the CBD. Right. That's my bigger problem. The brands are moving out of it. We are, instead of making a place which is called the Central Business District more palatable or more appealable to the people who want to do business, or make it easier for people to conduct business, make it more accessible for people who want to be around those businesses, be it restaurants or retail shops or whatever. We have made it, we have created impediments for that to happen. We've gone the other way.
I think hopefully things will change.
We want it to change.
Yeah,
that's the expectation.
Apart from that, now there are so many things that we want to talk to you, Rishabh, but time factor. So we would love to have you back. Can you give a closing statement? One, to all the young entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
And two, what do you see? Where do you see businesses moving in the next 2 to 3 years?
The only thing I can say to all the young population in New Zealand is it's time for you to start thinking about taking more challenges, having that ambition that I want my own business, I want to build my own brand, I want to build my own empire, if you want to call it. I want to do things. So the idea is that the young people need a lot of fire in their belly right now, which is missing. The ambition is missing. I don't know if it's missing or it needs a bit more push.
Right.
But that be entrepreneurs, be innovators, be ambitious, go fail out there, go do things, but please do something. Don't rely on support, don't rely on things to happen for you. I think that's the way I want
the music to Christopher Luxon anyway.
and I think that's pretty much what I want out of New Zealand and out of the young population. Please have that fire back in your bellies. You're young. Use this time. Yes, you'll get a lot of time to do things in life. New Zealand's a beautiful country, but when the pressure of not having to worry about things in life and helping people, creating opportunities for people, creating an environment where you attract people to work with you, to grow with you. That is what we want people to start thinking about. I want, for me, it's not about succeeding. The success that for me is that I can create more and more opportunities for people to work together with me. I want to work with a lot of people. I wish I had 5,000 people I was working with, or 10,000.
We are sure. We hope that you will soon have that.
I hope so too. Because I love working with people. People is all what I want to work with.
Thank you very much, and I'm sure we will have a few more opportunities. We want to talk to you more about your acting career and your other ambitions in your pursuit of your excellence in career. Thank you very much, Rishabh, and we'll be coming back to you again for another episode.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming.